Hetepu, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Haru Nefer, may Buddha bless you. This is Qesankh Keperu with another video for you. In this video, we're going to talk about the thing that changed my life forever, along with a big announcement. Before I do that, I'd like you to hit the like button on this video. If this is your first time to my channel, hit the subscribe button below to get notifications on when I go live and when I upload recorded videos. Also, we do have free ebooks for you to expand on my spiritual teachings. You can just scroll down below, click on any one of those links, and download the ebook today and start reading. Lastly, if you want to take your spiritual journey to the next level, you can become a Patreon supporter. You can do so for as little as $1, $5, or $20 per month, and you get exclusive access to instructional videos on the esoteric, on the spiritual, videos that will teach you how to communicate with the ancestors, how to invoke spirits for your protection, money rituals, how to do divination. You get your oracle readings free if you are an Assyrian contributor, and also videos on self-hypnosis to curb overeating and any health issues. Hypnosis is very good for that. So become a Patreon supporter today. You can cancel at any time. Last but not least, please share this video with family and friends so we can get the revolution started. So Haroon Nefer, how have all you been? I have been like super crazy busy. A lot of things have been going on. So I've been pulled left and right, trying to just maintain a center course, be at peace. But most importantly, I've talked to many of you and said this, that every 5 years or so, I purge myself of my old character traits and take on new personalities to enhance my life, to take me to the next level. So I've been doing at least 6 hours of meditation a day to make sure that I can take on a new persona. Because what I typically do, and what everyone should do in the Kemetic spiritual culture, is take an audit of your shortcomings, your limitations, write them down, and then actively start working on them. Go into meditation, visualize the new you, the new person, the best version of yourself. And then when you do it for 28 days consistently, what happens is you're going to pop. And that is a term that we use. And that means that your subconscious mind, or your brain, will build the synaptic connections of the new memory, the new idea, the new concept. So in other words, there's an archetype of you. And this archetype has been created by social engineering, your family, how they brought you up, and everything that you have been doing and encountered. And it continually is reinforced. And many times, that archetype of you has a lot of negative attributes. You don't want those things. You know, it contains fear, limitation, anxiety. So you have to purge yourself of all that. That's why I say that every 5 years, I take an audit look and say, oh, you know what, Qesankh, you have an addiction to chocolate. You gotta get rid of that, you know. Qesankh, that you tend to see worst case scenarios, and that comes from being a project manager. You've got to get rid of that. And you use the meditation trance induction techniques to do that. And when you eliminate those things, it frees you up and you become a better person. And also, if there are life skills that you want to learn, such as improvement, become better in mathematics, and that's one of the things I wanted to work on, become a better writer, become a better actor, you know what I'm saying, become a better project manager, become a better husband or wife, then you go into trance, saying the right mantra, because there's a mantra for each one of those disciplines or fields or, careers, whatever you want to call it. And like, for example, if you're going to be a better wife, there's a set mantra, Ong Vong De Hum, Ong Vong De Hum, and you would work with that mantra. And you would then take on the attributes of a better wife, mother, automatically. And we don't need to see the Western world. The way it's set up is the left brain. So you always have to tell yourself things like, oh, I'm a wealth magnet. I'm getting better at math, or I do well at work. You don't need to say those things. You see, we have the deities, which are intelligences. And these intelligences govern certain career fields or disciplines. And these intelligence have vibrational frequencies. Everything vibrates. And if you tap into that vibrational frequency, it changes your core frequency and you take on those attributes, those intelligences. So if you want to be a better analytical thinker, then you appeal to Sebek, Anubis. If you want to be better at multitasking, you appeal to Ma'at. If you want to be an undercover lover, you appeal to Heteru. If you want to be a very deep introverted thinker who can plan out things, you appeal to Sekert. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is, we don't need to study this stuff. We have magic that assists us. That is the key to it all. And it's so beautiful that we have a system that our ancestors have left behind for us to adapt and to utilize in times of need. So as I said, I've been working on improving myself, taking on a new persona. So I will see that come to fruition soon. You understand, if things work out in the right way. And you do it from one full moon cycle to another full moon cycle. Now, as I said before, I've been working really hard. And one of the things I do is let me just take a sip of my bourbon here. Actually, I don't drink, but anyway. This is actually a really good thing. It's called, I don't know if you guys, you should get this. It's called Qesankh 1. Very, very expensive. It's used to be $100. It came down a bit. But it is, it's rejuvenating. It gives you energy, like, cause I have to wake up sometimes at 5 in the morning and I just pop and jump up. So check it out. It's on Amazon. It's called Qesankh 1. You can get yourself a 30-day supply. It's wonderful. And you can get like orange and lemon flavor, but I digress. Now, I sometimes work as a consultant, as a project manager. And it's a very stressful position, but it's a very rewarding position because I'm not just a project manager. I would be called like a director of project management or a senior project manager. Okay. It took me many years to get to that level. And there are times when I just decide that, hey, I don't want to work for about 4 or 5 months, and I may travel, may do some things, and then I'll work. So recently I've noticed that a lot of companies have been calling me and saying, hey, are you available? We'd like you to come and work for us. We have a gig for you. And, this time around, I got a number of calls and I was like, I don't think I want to. I think I wanted to chill. And then I felt a calling. And I said to myself, every time I do these consulting jobs, I go in there and I meet with HR and it's full of African-American women. But when I go to the company is mostly like 99% white. And, they need a little bit more diversity. Now, the environments are great. The environments are very creative. Everybody there is very intelligent, highly intelligent. But I would like to see more diversity and me not to be the only so-called minority there. So I really was thinking about this over the past month. And I said, maybe I should do something about that. You know what I mean? Because I haven't actually seen it change. It's not changing. So I said to myself, well, how are people getting into this field? Now, traditionally, just to give you my story, what changed my life in a very profound way was I started out as a recruiter. I would recruit people, I would find them jobs, and I was very good at it, Job fairs loved me because I would do speeches and lectures at the job fairs. And I was working for a recruiting company, and I noticed that their, I think it was their intranet was down. So I had some downtime myself, and I went in there and I actually fixed it. And I said to myself, maybe I have a talent for this web stuff. And I started researching, and I found out that there was this position called a digital producer or digital project manager. And I said, I think I'd like to go into that. So I took 6 months off and learned like HTML and JavaScript. And I taught myself. I was staying home doing blah, blah, blah. And I said, I would like to try for this digital project manager position. And it was very, very next to none or no literature on that position at the time. Couldn't find anything. And a very good young woman, she's Russian, gave me my first opportunity in her startup company. And I worked for her, and we worked for a long time. And I beta tested her site, which ended up getting I think it was $12 million in venture capital funding, and she's doing really well now. So from there, I decided that this was the field for me. But the thing I didn't realize was I didn't need to know programming or coding. I was like, well, I learned all that stuff for nothing. And I remember going into priesthood, and a lot of the brothers in priesthood wanted to make money, a lot of money, and a lot of them were trying to learn code so they can get into the tech field or work in IT desk or whatever. And they were very surprised at the fact that I had a high position and a high paying salary and didn't really know any advanced code. I mean, HTML5 is nothing, to be honest with you. It's easy. JavaScript is easy. They're talking about cold fusion and things like that, and I didn't know any of that. And they were like, "Well, how are you getting this high-paying job? And how do you get a manager position? And you don't know coding?" I said, "Well, it's called a digital project manager, digital producer. You have never heard of it before?" And they went, "No." And I said, "It made sense because everywhere I went, I was the only so-called minority." And it was really cool. I was working for companies like Disney. I was working for, at the time, this was years ago, MTV. So, building their websites, updating their websites, doing all this crazy thing. And you don't have to know code. You don't have to know anything in terms of technical stuff. There is a specific field for a project manager, which is called a technical project manager, which pays even more money, So when I got into this field, the young woman I talked about with her first startup gave me an opportunity, my first chance, which changed my life. I was working with her and two other Russians. And it's interesting to work with Russians because they have a very good work ethic in some sense. And that startup company actually went belly up. And like I said, she went to Silicon Valley, started up her new company, and I beta tested that site. But what happened to me was I went from working as a recruiter. I went from one level to another level, a level overnight. Let me say it again, one level to another level overnight. What do I mean by that? I went from making a little bit of money as a recruiter, because they give you like a really small base salary, like $25,000, and then they give you they give you a little percentage off placements and things like that. I went from that little bit of money. Well, actually, I negotiated, so it wasn't. When I went in there, I was like, "You're not paying me $25,000. I'm getting minimum $45,000." And they were bitter, but they accepted. I went from that $45,000 to making way more money as a project manager. I mean, a hell of a lot more money. And the money it came in, and when you get a whole bunch of money right away, you don't know how to operate. You start buying things you don't need. You start doing things. So immediately, what did I do? I started looking at apartments in Manhattan, really expensive apartments. I started buying 3 or 4 cell phones. I bought me a nice motorcycle. I was buying all this crazy stuff, But eventually, I calibrated and I realized, stop buying stuff you don't need, wasting like $6,000 here and all this money here. So good times, though. Good times. Lived in a really nice apartment in Manhattan. It was a beautiful apartment. It was very expensive rent, almost like $3,000 a month. Yeah, it was very, very expensive, and it wasn't that big either. And I was really like upset about that. I'm like, I'm paying about $3,000 a month, and it's not that big. I had a maid, so she would come in and clean up, and so I was living the life. And it once your salary increases like that, I was buying suits too, doing the whole deal there. Your quality of life improves. But now let's get back to the point I wanted to talk about. So that really changed my life in the way of this, not because of the money, because the money didn't mean anything to me. And that was a big problem that I had in my life, was that I didn't understand the value of money. So I would give it away quickly, and I wasn't a big spender. You know what I mean? I like, you didn't see me like, I mean, I would buy things that I really did need, like I did need suits. I did need a car, but I wouldn't go out and buy a Lexus or something expensive like that. I was never, what do you call that word? I wasn't peacocking or making it rain or being flashy in that way. I was never like that. So, but anyway, I started working for different companies as a consultant, and some companies even tried to hire me, and I said no. I like my freedom and doing this and doing that. So what I'm trying to say to you was, what changed my life was when you're around certain people, and this is not to degrade anybody, but when I got into this tech field and when I started working for these big ad agencies, when I started working with people in Silicon Valley, these were the smartest, most intelligent people you could be around. And I knew one thing. I said, I don't want to be around dumb people. Now, I want you to understand something. My background is I was born and raised in Charlottesville, Virginia. And when I was a child, we had nothing. We lived like in a trailer. There was a well, an outhouse, chickens running in and out of the house. So I knew poverty. I was like, wow, this is bad. And my father knew poverty, and he was smart enough to get us out of that really quick. And I give him kudos for that. There are people in this life who don't ever want to move up. They're comfortable where they are. See, I knew early on that there had to be more to life. And I said, let me find it. And what I found was magic. And I said, there even has to be more than that. And I realized that if you make more money, you create a social circle of very intelligent and influential people. See, people don't understand that. They just think about money is acquiring things. No, you have access to human resources, very intelligent people. You know, I just shot a TV commercial, and I'm sitting there on set with the billionaire who owns the hotel and casino. And he's like, me and him are chopping it up, we're talking, to be honest with you, I'm a little like nervous and awed. And I'm like, wow, this guy's a billionaire. God, he built this hotel. He's like, wow, I'm going to pick his brain. I would have never got that opportunity if I had stayed a recruiter. I would never have been standing next to a billionaire and the billionaire asking my opinion of something. Do you understand what I'm saying? I would never be around people like the young woman who gave me the opportunity, the Russian woman, who then gets $12 million for a startup company and becomes a multimillionaire overnight. She became a multimillionaire overnight. These are the people I was surrounded with and good friends with. So I want you to understand, it's not about the money sometimes. It's the human resources, because when you make more money and you're in the right field, like the tech field, because that's where you need to be, doors start to open for you. I never knew I would be working for Disney. I never knew I'd be producing commercials for Juicy Juice and dealing with these bratty kids agents, you know? But they were cute kids. But it was all because I said to myself, I'm going to reach the stars. And if I don't make the stars, I'll be in the sky. I'll be amongst the clouds. I knew there had to be more. I wanted to go for more. And I'm telling you, my brothers and sisters, my beloved, there are people in our world who are just so comfortable where they're at. And I never understood that. And I actually tried to bring people with me. I would invite people to the set of the commercial. I would say, listen, I'll build a website for you to help you with your business to make money. And they would be like, no. And I'm just like, wow. But going back to what I was saying before about how when I would look in these companies, I wouldn't see many so-called minority people. In fact, I would be the only one most times. So I said, I've got to change that. I vowed to change that because I don't think HR was interested in making it more diverse. And I think one of the things with Black Lives Matter, even though I don't agree with that organization at all, the positive thing that's come out of that is more companies are realizing that they have to be diverse. Diversity is important. So I want you to know that my absence from making videos and stuff has not been because I've been meditating a lot, which is true, but I've started the most wonderful thing, which is a tech academy. It's called the Raw Force Tech Academy. And the purpose of this tech academy is to train people, individuals in digital project management and producing. And not only will they benefit from the training monetarily, but it will take them to a new class and new social circle. They'll be introduced to secret technologies, tech that's coming out. They'll be around very smart people, and they'll be able to relax a little bit more because they're making money and they can enjoy life, have a little bit more freedom. So I'm going to launch this. Well, I've actually already launched this, but I'm informing all of you about this awesome thing, the Tech Academy. But here is where it gets even better. You know, most of you already know the fact that I'm very much into accelerated learning and super learning based on this book, which really got me into it. So the way I'm teaching these courses personally in a fashion that deals with super learning, because this takes a lot to learn. But I'm going to give you a 5-week course on this that will give you everything you need to know to hit the ground running and start consulting or working permanently for certain corporations. And if you do well and finish the course well, I will make recommendations and get you employment. And why? Because I want there to be more diversity. And I'd rather do this because it's more of a ma'at thing to do than continually consult for these companies and see that the environment is 99% white. And I also thought about something too, because I'm a member of the Las Vegas ADOS political, let's say, action committee, we'll say that. And the one thing we talked about is the racial wealth gap and how so-called African Americans, ADOS Black, foundational Black Americans, whatever you want to call them, don't make as much as white people. In fact, they've done studies to show that an African American male or female who graduates from college with a degree, a white person who doesn't go to college still has an opportunity to make more money than you with a degree. And that's wrong. And I've seen so many people, minority people, look for an avenue to get out of the poverty or the deprivation that they're in, and they can't find it. And because I was blessed to stumble into Sebek's field, Sebek Tech, I said, I've got to give back. And I thought, in giving back, if I can do this on a big level, this will help to maybe a little bit even out the racial wealth gap. Because when things hit like a recession, you know, or when there's high unemployment, it affects African Americans disproportionately. But if you have a skill that is in high demand, something that is lucrative, and not many people can get it that easily, you'll always be employed and you'll always make a lot of money. So that's what I wanted to do. I said, I'm going to start teaching at my tech academy. And I put my tech academy together and we're ready to go. Let me give you some shout outs too, because I have some important news of updates. And I'm going to try and do these periodically because I want to recognize those individuals who are doing exceptionally well. So let's start and let's give just a few shout outs. First shout out goes to Mika Tai Nuta. Mika Tai Nuta just received her Kemetic name. She is named after the goddess Nut, sky goddess. So let's congratulate her. Next, Seker Nefer Ra. He has enrolled in the six-figure PM. This is the Tech Academy. So, dua to those two. Kudos. And now I want to take you so that you can see firsthand what this looks like, what this Tech Academy looks like. I'm going to share my screen. And if you're interested, go to the sixfigurepm.com. And it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Let's take a look at this really quick. Here we go. All right, so here's the site here, Raw Force Tech Training Academy, the six-figure PM. Learn how to build websites and manage teams. And the salary, starting salary can be $110,000 to $200,000. It could actually go up more if you want to be a director of project management, so you can make even more money. And note, it's a lucrative field, meaning you'll find very few places, almost none, that actually teach digital project management. There are places that teach project management, but that's more for construction and things of that nature. But digital project management is just very lucrative. This is why these positions pay so much. They're in high demand. Note, there is no degree required. There's no certification required. There's no coding experience required. When I found this out, I was like, wow, interesting. So this site really goes into a lot about my story and what happened to me and how I stumbled into this, my trials and tribulations. But more importantly, it talks about this industry, tech, and the position, and how wonderful it can be for, again, I hate using this term, minorities or African Americans, to up your pay scale, to up your quality of life. And I go here and explain about the salary. One of the things is when you do this, you're the boss. You are the boss. You're managing a team. It's your team. They look to you for guidance. You mentor them. And I'll train you on how to do that in the Tech Academy. Now, here's the sensational part about this. Look at the companies that you get to work for. You know what I mean? Top companies. You've got your Walt Disney, Johnson & Johnson. I work for all these companies. Google, American Express, MasterCard, Pfizer, eBay, Procter & Gamble, LinkedIn. Great. And one of the things I talk about in this website as I give my story is the environment. And did I get to that part yet? Not yet. Because one of my first so-called good paying jobs, and it wasn't a great paying job, was at a stock brokerage firm. And I had to wear my suit, my tie, and it was just so confining. Interesting story here. So I worked at this stock brokerage firm, and I was reading a little bit about Kemetic philosophy, Kemetic history, and I put up a picture of Ma'at on my desk. Small picture, wasn't very big and intrusive. The manager came and told me to take it down. I knew that this wasn't for me. The next couple of weeks, I enrolled in priesthood. And when I enrolled in priesthood, they told me that I was in Ma'at clan and that my incarnation objective was Ma'at. And I was like, wow. And I had just put that picture of Ma'at up at my desk. What I found out when I got into this tech field, this tech arena, was that when you're working here, it's a very creative environment. One of the companies that I worked for on Wall Street, you can just chill, sit out on the floor. They had sofas for you to relax. We had two dogs. They were twins, would run around. And when you were in a conference room, the dogs would come and scratch on the door. And you had to let the dogs in so they can come and watch you. It was the funniest thing. It cracked me up. These dogs were so smart. And they would just sit there and listen to your conference call or listen to the presentation. And then they would leave and go to the next conference room. And if you didn't, when they scratched on the door, you don't let them in, they would bark. It was so funny. So a lot of these companies are pet friendly. So that's the great thing about it. And you can work from home. Now, this is an example of some photographs of the creative environment that you're seeing here. It's wonderful. It's relaxed. You don't see anybody there over your shoulders. And that's a picture of me working as a consultant at one company that actually came to the office. This was years ago. And this talks about me teaching all of the courses and things of that nature. And we go down more. And I talk about the relaxed environment, the creative environment. This is not a 9-to-5 job. You know what I mean? It's more so when you get the work done. So if you want to come in at 10, you come in at 10. I had a developer who came in at 11 every morning. I didn't care as long as he got his work done. He could come in at 11 and leave at 5, you know. I found out the reason why he was coming in at 11, and I kid you not, is that after work, he would take all the other employees out and buy them chicken wings and beer. He literally was spending money on chicken wings and beer and would get drunk and couldn't come in the next morning until 11 a.m. So it's very relaxed, you know, as you see here, very creative. So we were doing a post-it, I'm sorry, that's a post-it note. That's for UX UI. I can talk a little bit about that later. You know, again, pet-friendly environment. And this talks about age doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know, you just, it is for the young. And the reason they tend to, it swings more toward the young is because when you move up, you become like a director, project manager, and then you may work into the account. And those are more of the seasoned older people in those positions, you know. But the one thing I've always gravitated toward, I love, is mentoring people and being the boss. You know what I mean? And this goes over here, the advantages of being. I'll just state a couple of them. It's easy to learn the role. This is not about learning any technology. I could teach you the technology platforms, and it's gonna be so easy. There's no coding, no programming language. You know what this is? It's more about, are you good at multitasking? Are you good a people person? That's what's important. You know, extremely low cost training. You can work remotely from home. You can work for any location, including Hawaii. I was once thinking about moving to Hawaii and just going on the beach and working from there, but I found out a whole lot of things about Hawaii that I didn't like. Work part-time or full-time if you want. I actually got an opportunity. They wanted me this week. They said, well, would you want more part-time, 20 hours? I said, no, I don't want to do any more consulting for right now. I'm going to take a break. You are your own boss managing a team. You work independently. No one is there looking over your shoulders. You can freelance, setting up your own hours. You can contract work for 30 days, 3 months, or you can dictate your schedule and availability. You can say, listen, I'm a contractor. I'm only available 30 days. I'm only available 6 months, and you can negotiate. You can choose to work as a permanent employee and receive benefits. They may decide, and that's happened a number of times with me. I worked there for 3 or 4 months, and they said, listen, we want to hire you. And then that's actually a good thing, because you'll make more money if they hire you. And you can negotiate, you know. You can easily start your own company and employ your workers or friends. I'm going to take this to the next level and show you how to start your own startup company, but that's down the road. You don't need to learn any computer language, no technical know-how required, but it is a plus. If you know that, you can get more pay. You can negotiate for more pay. You don't need certification or a degree. You don't need a college education. It's market proof. No matter if there is a recession or downturn in the economy, you will still be in demand. So even though we went through the lockdown, businesses were that were primarily based online saw a boom, and that includes this industry. So, and one of the things I talk about here is job placement. And as I said, if you enroll in the program, I will work to place you. So you don't have to be nervous about where do I find the jobs at? How can I get in? No, I'll show you where you'll have the pick of the litter. You'll be able to pick different opportunities for yourself. The program is called a 6-Figure PM, and the classes will be starting May 1st. And we're going to start this trial run with 10 students. You'll get certification from me. All classes are live streamed, and the pricing is here, so you can take a look at all this stuff yourself. Some of the advantages here. The bonus is you work with the latest PM software programs. All students will be taken through each program used by the industry today. All program books are provided, and students get to keep them as part of their enrollment. Access to our online resource library of documents and worksheets to assist with furthering your knowledge. That's just some of the programs you'll be working with. And this talks about, a little bit about the project manager or producer. You can decide that you want to be a digital project manager, or you can decide you want to be a digital producer. There's a difference between the two, both high paying, but different responsibilities. I moved from a digital project manager to a digital producer, and I stayed as a digital producer, but every now and then when a digital project manager position comes that I think I like, I'll take that. This goes over my portfolio of work, and this is a tuition program for ADOS, and you can read about that. Now, I will advise those of you who are looking to improve the quality of your life. If you are not satisfied with where you're at in life right now, take advantage of this program. If you want more out of life, if you want to be in a better surrounding neighborhood, a better house, a better apartment, if you want a better social circle, better friends, if you want to have a skill that is based in technology and you know it won't your job won't disappear in the next 10 years or 20 years. When you're in this field and you're with these companies educate you. They take you to the next level. Every company I was with educated me on virtual reality, augmented reality, quantum computing. I didn't know these things. They brought me into the fold and taught me about these things. So I have knowledge now that will take me into the next 10 to 20 years. My position and my knowledge base won't be phased out. I'll always upgrade with the company. These companies are technology companies, and they want to be on the cutting edge. And to do this, they keep their employees in the know. So there is no, you need to go to college to learn some more or this and that. No, the company is going to give you information on what is about to break out in tech, and you will be in the know before most people. You understand? That's the one thing about, I have people who are like, well, I got to go to school because, I want to learn cybersecurity or I want to learn programming. I'm like, okay, cybersecurity is not going to be booming for at least another 10 years. And to be in that field of cybersecurity, you have to know some really serious programming languages. Well, I'll just become a regular programmer. Well, there are programmers out there who know, programs such as Cold Fusion, and I used to read Cold Fusion, that they've been working with for 5 years or more. They have more experience than you. Who would I hire? You who just learned Cold Fusion, or someone who has 6 years in Cold Fusion programming? I would hire them. So this idea of, well, I'll just learn programming or I'll learn cybersecurity, it's going to be a big learning curve for you, a very big learning curve for you. So understand that. Versus the project management, they're going to look at the talent within you. It's not necessarily years of experience. It's just how good you are as a project manager. And I'll make sure you're damn good. Because if I'm going to recommend you for a job, I'm putting my name out there. And I'm going to help you with the salary negotiations because I know all the little tricks and tips to give you, you know. So I want you to think about enrolling the program. Again, it's called the Six Figure PM. And actually, I should put that into, let me take that URL. And I'm going to be working a lot on this in the upcoming weeks, working with students and helping them. And hopefully, listen, we live in a world where there's inequality, and we've got to fix that. You understand? We've got to fix that. And we all need to do our part. We can't just sit back and say, oh, life is unfair. It's, you know, why is this happening? You know, when will my ship come in? No, it's about right now. It's a wonderful time now to get on the ground floor. I went back and looked at Jeff Bezos's first office for Amazon. Who would have known him doing an online book company back then would lead to him being the richest man in the world? Who would have known Netflix would have beat out Blockbuster? Because Netflix went to streaming. So there are opportunities now for you. And I want you to think about it and jump right in. And to answer your question, yes, to non-US residents, of course, that's not a problem at all. That's what tech is all about. I mean, some of the best developers and programmers are overseas in India and Russia. So yeah, it's available to non-US residents. That's the great thing about this field is you work anywhere you want to work. There's no limitation. If I want to travel to France and work from there from a hotel, I can do that. You know, as long as I bring my laptop, I'm cool and have an internet connection. I'm good. You know what I mean? You're going to find that if you work in this field, you're working with very laid back, relaxed, creative people who will value you. That is the one thing I hated about corporate America and working in like recruiting in the stock market. They never looked at you as a person. They never cared about you. The work-life balance was horrible. That's why I jumped ship and got into the tech field. You know? So my candle made a noise there. It said something. It said amen. So I want to officially, today is Sebek's day. Netrak Sebek. Duau Sebek for blessing us. Sebek opens the way to your success. So I want to announce the launch of the Six Figure PM in my tech company, Raw Force, to all of you and to bring this opportunity to you first. And if you have any questions, go to the website. My phone number is there. Call me up. We'll have a conversation. I do career strategy sessions all the time. I used to do them when I was a recruiter. You know, we can do a reading for you to see if this is right, or we can do a reading for you to see what career is right for you if this is not the right career for you. So I am extremely ecstatic and happy. My life has been good and things have worked well. And I owe that to the ancestors, to my mother, the goddess Ma'at, my aunt, the beautiful Heteru. And remember our spiritual tradition. Don't ever forget that. Because that is the one thing I knew was the glue that kept everything together. You know, I said, no matter what happens, where I go, the Kemetic spiritual faith will always, always follow me. I even said, hey, if I make millions and millions of dollars in Hollywood, what would I do with it? I would build a temple to Ma'at. And I'm serious. I would build a temple to Ma'at. I want to thank you all for tuning in today. This is Qesankh Ma'at Keperu, son of Ma'at and Tahuti. Ma'at is the beautiful goddess Heteru. Until my next video, I'm in Ra.